Okay, today is March the 3rd, 2020, Tuesday, and right now at 12:10 a.m. we have a temperature of 59 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 18%. The dew point is only 16 degrees, and the barometric pressure is 29.87 inches. One of the other barometers is indicating 29.77 inches. All right, so right now we're looking at the goes west, the Western US infrared map, and we can see this upper level closed low right here, which passed right down the coast. And on Saturday, which was the scheduled rain date for Southern California, we received a total of 0.04 inches, 4/100ths of an inch from this giant weather system that moved down the coast over the last few days. So we've had very, very windy conditions. We can see that high pressure has been installed all the way around this vortex right here. And we have high pressure installed right out here off California, which is redirecting this jet stream flow up into Canada and also up into the northwest. Now, if we look here real quick at the Doppler map, we can see that there is just nothing happening here in California as far as rain. Same with Nevada. We have a little bit of rain in the Flagstaff area of Arizona. But this entire area should have gotten many, many inches of rain, as I mentioned in the last video, from this approaching low pressure system. And what's interesting about what's happening here is the fact that we have a low, this is a vortex, a low pressure system, and yet we also have jet stream flow moving right by this low, which is completely blockaded. In other words, this flow is not being allowed to get into that low pressure. And normally we would see high pressure flowing towards lower pressure, which is the center of that vortex, where the condensation is on the north side. This should have condensation all the way around, but that's not the case. And that's because of the man-made satellite transmitter manipulation, which is creating this dry area, this isolation area, this boundary around this low pressure system. So nothing's happening. This is literally being squashed with descending air. That's what we're seeing here. So we've got a lot of wind in Southern California, a lot of wind starting up at about 4 o'clock this morning. A lot of wind as this thing is going to move probably eastbound. The weather controllers are preventing the jet stream moisture right here from flowing into that vortex. So we've got clockwise high pressure up here. We've got a low trying to spin counterclockwise. And the weather controllers once again have prevented any kind of significant rainfall in the foothill areas. Now, we noticed on the Doppler that there was some rain in Santa Barbara, some prolonged precipitation in the Santa Barbara area, also in Malibu and down in the Orange County area. And also we saw some snow falling up in the Lake Arrowhead and Big Bear area. And so we'd like to hear something from all the people up in those areas. Thousand Oaks, Ventura, Santa Barbara. What sort of totals did you get? Like I say, here in the foothills, all across a wide area of the foothills, there wasn't just not much rain. As I say, we got 4/100ths of an inch. So the grand total for this year, for this area, starting January 1st, has been 0.28 inches. And the wind continues to blow. You may hear it on the tape here. So looking at the infrared map, we can see that vortex spinning with very little moisture in the around that vortex. Very, very small amount of moisture. Now let's look at the jet stream map. We can see the flow pattern around that vortex. We also have a lot of high-speed moisture moving right along this area here, as we showed here a minute ago. Looking at the sea level pressure, we see a high installed offshore, which is generating a lot of wind adjacent to this low right here. But at the surface, this is really not a low in this area. This has been completely disrupted We can see all the jaggy isobars, which is not natural. Looking at the the 500 millibar, we see a closed low right here over Baja California. And this is the system that should have brought some rain, some heavy rain, to the area. Now looking at the 300 millibar map, we see that closed low. We see some jaggy isobars here. Same thing here in the 500 millibar chart. We see a lot of jaggy isobars. This is all evidence of satellite transmitter manipulation, where the upper atmosphere is being heated to disrupt and evaporate the moisture around this vortex. So there's no condensation. Once again, we can see it right here. There's no significant condensation in this vortex. And that reflects right here on the Doppler map. There's zero precipitation showing up in California, Nevada, and most of Arizona. And there's a number of techniques that are being used by the weather controllers to manage our weather, to control our weather. One technique is, of course, these satellite transmitters, which completely evaporate the moisture in the atmosphere. And so we get wind, we get a little bit of rain, but we get a lot of wind. We get very dry conditions immediately after any rain event, so that the benefit of the precipitation is lost. Like I say, we've got 18% humidity, so any saturation, any moisture saturation in the soil is lost. It just evaporates. So these weather controllers, these people are functioning as terrorists. They're working for Wall Street, and we see that this is criminal activity going on. It's unchecked, and so these people have to be stopped. Now here we have the wave analysis chart right here. All that wind offshore squashing that low as it moves sort of to the southeast is causing these 16-foot, 15 and 12-foot seas right here off of Southern California. So this is all going to move in, and we're going to have some fairly large swells moving into the west and south-facing beaches here in the next day. Now looking at the northeast Pacific water vapor loop, we see a system right here off of just east of the Hawaiian Islands. We can see some angular features right here. There's a straight edge and basically sort of a right angle forming there, which is separating the vortex and the frontal system. All this moisture is heading right into Baja California. It's being re-steered by this manipulation right here over this vortex, which should have brought many inches of rain. And notice here also, look at the blockade built around this developing low pressure system. There's a vortex right here, but we see a blockade built in, and all this jet stream flow here is being redirected and moving eastbound. But normally you see moisture flowing towards higher pressure, moving towards lower pressure. That's not the case. So once again, we see the laws of physics being defied. And we see a lot of evaporation here right around this this border that's been built in, this high pressure barricade, which is blockading that developing weather system. So this is just a short update, and we're going to continue to monitor the weather every day. Even though we don't get a video up, we still watch the charts every day. And so that's that. We'll just leave it here and get another update here real soon. We do have some rain scheduled for next weekend, and we'll keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, the weather controllers have us in a drought mode once again, and that's the situation. Okay, that's it.